Twist, and thank God I get to do part 2 of this Raw Recap and Review from July 20th, 2026 in Detroit, Michigan. And we left off with the big tag team match between Penta and Gable against Rusev and Ethan Page. But now we're leading on to our fourth match of the night, and it's Dirty Dom versus Joe Hendry. They had beef earlier in the show, which leads to Pierce making this match right now. And Dom is still upset about what happened earlier because he instantly starts the match off with a big striking blitz on the Joe Hendry. Big punches, back and forth, puts him into the corner. Then he tries to Irish whip him, but Joe Hendry reverses that into him with a big shoulder tackle, right into a big hip toss, and then get him in the corner with big chops, and then strikes back and forth, uppercuts in the corner. Leeson then grab him. The powerhouse he is, a big strong Irish whip into the other corner, hitting straight back, knocking him down on the ground, and then he lift up that man, and he holding him. He goes to the right side. He goes to the left side. He goes in the middle. He go back up. Suplex down, and the strength is crazy on Joe Hendry, man. That leads to him then trying to Irish whip Dom again, but Dom ends up hitting him with a big boot to stop him. And then at least him then Joe Hendry running at Dom, but he ends up hitting the Olay to the outside. Dom hits the ropes to go for the suicide dive, but that get caught by Joe Hendry. He too strong. He lift that man up for a fireman's carry and throw that man on the table. Dom begin whoop, man. He just begin whoop. That leads to Dom getting thrown back into the ring. Joe getting hyped, but the ref is distracted looking at Dom. That Liv Morgan grabs Joe, throws him right into the ring post. And that leads to Danhausen popping out for his mans. He finna curse Liv, but Liv say, I'm getting sick and tired of this. Knock that man down into the ground. He dip. And that leads on to the commercial break. Back from the commercial break, with Dom having a chokehold on Joe Hendry down, but Joe ends up getting up and then lifting him up while he's still in the chokehold, right into a big suplex. The strength, nasty. Hitting that man with punches back and forth, right into a big boom, fall away slam. He had that. He hit that move right there, and then hit that man with the spinning clothesline, aka the hit single. 1, 2, kick out from Dom. He got resiliency. He get whooped and he kick out a lot. Then we get another Liv Morgan distraction. She gets on the apron. Dominic, it takes advantage of that, grabs Joe, hits him with the big tornado DDT. That leads into a double down. But then we get Danhausen popping out in the little whipski, but he not alone. He got Io Sky. She gets to the outside. She's brawling back and forth with Liv. She hits her with a big Shote uppercut, and then she grabs her, throws her into the apron, and then throw her in the ring. She jumped on the apron, does a springboard drop kick to her in the middle of the ring, flip over oral form. Then when Liv goes to the outside, she gets on the apron, does a big cross body to her on the outside. And while the ref is distracted looking at that, Danhausen gets into the ring. He grabs Dirty Dom, hits him with the triple D, not the titty, slams him down, and Joe says, why not? Goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Wave your hands from side to side and sing. I believe in Joe Hendry. He gets the dub. That match is a lot of fun, but overall, quality-wise, it wasn't much. It was average at best. It was a 3-star match, but if I'm adding the goofiness of it, I'd probably give it a 4. But like in reality, it's a 3-star match. I'll probably maybe give it 3.5. But it was fun, you know. A lot of the shenanigans going on was really fun to see. I guess they see Joe Hendry as like a fun act and not as a super serious wrestler as of right now. But we'll see. You know, the future has a lot to hold for Joe. But Danhausen is really a trip. And then it gets announced later on that Danhausen is going to be fighting Dirty Dom at SummerSlam. So that's going to be hilarious. And I'll be honest, man, it's time for Dom to stop being a heel. Or at least be an anti-hero or something, man. Because, like, he just gets whooped in all his matches and then just weasels his way for a win. Like, he don't even be getting no crazy offense like he used to do when he was a face anymore. So, yeah. Then we get into our LA Knight promo. He's popping out and he says, you know, he's excited for SummerSlam and how it's going to be a 3-on-3 match with him, Royce Keys, and Solo Sikoa versus the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso, Jay Uso, Jacob Fatu. But he says it's, you know, and he was really reluctant, and he was reluctant to do the match because he don't trust Solo Sikoa. But now he really not feeling him the way he really not feeling because he wants to help out Seth Rollins. And he says, "I know y'all was out here saying what? I was in the back going, huh, huh, huh." What? He says talking about Seth and Roman just makes him sick. He's tired of it. At least the OTC chants going on. And he says, you know what? I don't even blame y'all for saying that because y'all been conned. Because for years he was begging for y'all to love him and love him and love him and love him until he figured something out. And he says that's the reason why, and that's the reason LA Knight is everything Roman Reigns wants to be. Because when LA showed up here, they loved him from day one, and something Roman can never say that happened to him. And he says that Solo Sikoa is focused on the wrong thing. That says he could team up for him for one night. That's all he could do with Solo because after all the past, like he lucky he could trust him for one match. He says so we need to destroy the bloodline that night so they won't even get involved with that match. And he says, pretty soon Jacob Fatu is gonna pop out with his little Mortal Kombat music and it's gonna play it and he's gonna try his might, but he can't stop LA Knight. And he says, you got your little shakes going on, but I got the cure, and that's smacking you back to factory settings. And that leads to Fatu popping out, and it goes for a commercial break. So then we get the match, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. That is the main event of the evening, our fifth match, and the match starts during the commercial break. Boo for America. We get back into the match with LA hitting multiple punches onto Jacob and hitting a big clothesline onto him. But Fatu's basically no selling all that and leads to a big strike exchange between both of them. Like leads them into the corner, switching back and forth, corner strikes back and forth, back and forth. But Fatu has an upper hand with a big uppercut, knocking that man straight into the corner. That leads to LA being in a seated position. Fatu tries to go for the move, but he dodges out of it. He gets outside the ring, grabs Fatu's leg, drops him down, into the ring post, grabs his leg, slamming that thing back and forth on the ring post. He gets back into the ring when Fatu stands up and hits a big chop block right onto that leg. Then he starts hitting attacks on his leg. He's holding both of his legs up now, but Fatu ends up pushing him outside the ring. Fatu stands up, gets a big suicide dive to the outside of the ring. Now it's Fatu time to get some work in. He grabs LA, throw him into the barricade, slam him into the apron, back into the barricade, and he tries to Irish whip him to the stairs, but LA reverses that and throws him instead. Fatu hits his legs first, flips over the stairs, and then LA tries to jump off of the stairs on the Fatu, but he ends up catching LA, and then Samoan drops him on the apron, hardest part of the ring, by the way. And then LA gets up and then does his suicide drop kick to Fatu on the outside. He grabs him, puts him over to the table, and then starts dribbling him back and forth on the table. But Fatu no-sells it, punches him back, and then throws him into the steel steps this time. That leads to Fatu then trying to run towards LA while he's near the steps, but LA gets out the way. Ole, slam head first by Fatu. Looks nasty, by the way. And then then LA then grabbing Fatu and then dribbling his head back and forth on the stairs, climbing onto the apron and hitting that man with a big clothesline. And then it leads into a commercial break. But wait, they do picture in picture. So they have the match and they have the ads next to it, but you only hear the ads. That's the first time they've done that from a Raw show that I've seen. So that was cool to see. So we can keep saying what happened during the commercial break. During the commercial break, LA gets Fatu, throws him to the ring. He hits the rope, but Fatu dodges that and then hits him with a big elbow in the ring. And then he grabs the man, throws him shoulder first into the ring post, which leads to the people saying we wanted tables before the commercial break. But he's actually going outside the ring to get a table, and he pump fakes it. He said, "Nah, I ain't getting no table." Then he gets to the outside again. He picks up LA Knight, and there's a big flapjack slam on him to an announce table. And the funniest thing ever, he goes back underneath the ring and grabs a red Gatorade, if you know, you know, about Fatu in the color red, and drinks it, gets a sip, throws it down, grabs LA, throws him to the ring. That was hilarious to see, I'm not gonna lie. Leads to them then hitting big standing sentons back and forth on the LA. Then he actually just lands the straight eye in the corner on him. He does the shaking back and forth. Goes for a pin though. 1, 2, kick out from LA. Then at least the Fatu getting a little rest hold, just holding the pressure points on the LA. But they get up. LA's near the corner now. He gets him off of him. Fatu tries to do the splash on him, but he misses, hitting head first on the top of the ring post, right into the big LA Knight neck breaker. 1, 2, kick out from Fatu though. That leads to LA then trying to go to the top rope, but Fatu ends up kicking him down, and he's laying on top of the top rope, and he jumps up with a big elbow while he's laying on the top rope. I've never seen that before. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out from LA though. Now Fatu is on the top rope trying to land a swanton bomb, but LA Knight stops him. He jumps up to the big superplex right down there, double down, but Jimmy Uso pops out, and he's walking around the ring, but he's near the barricade. You know what that means. Solo Sikoa pops out, grabbing that man, punching him back and forth. He gets him near the announce table, and he's holding his thumb up for the big spike. But as he's about to do the spike, Jacob Fatu suicide dive onto that man, and then he gets back into the ring. But LA hits him with strikes, punches back and forth. He hits the rope, but tries to lift him up. He Irish whips him, lifts him up for the pop-up Samoan, but that gets reversed by LA Knight right into the BFT. He tries to go for the pin, but Jimmy Uso jumps on the apron, so the ref's distracted. But Royce Keys pops up from SmackDown. He pulls her down. He fighting back and forth. Right here is Uso, Jay Uso. He popping out. He jumped through the barricade where Royce Keys don't see. Hit that man with 3 super kicks. Right to throw him over the barricade. That leads to Jay on the middle side of the ring on the outside. LA Knight does the suicide drop kick onto him. He gets back into the ring. Fatu hits that man with a super kick. Then hits him with the pop-up Samoan. Goes to the top rope for the mighty moonsault. 1, 2, 3, Fatu gets the W. I enjoyed that match. It was very hard hitting. I love the moves. I give that match a 4.5 stars. I love the shenanigans involved with this, and it was an actual good match before we got into all that. We get a whole big brawl after the match with all the men involved, but at least Jimmy hitting a big super kick and right into a spear by Jay on the solo. At least the Royce getting to the ring, hitting a double clothesline onto the twins. And then hitting a big spine buster on the Fatu when he tried to stop him. But at least the Usos getting back up, hitting a double super kick on the Royce, and then lifting that man up for the 1D together. And it's funny, Cole called it, that's 3D. And Corey's like, no, Michael, that's 1D. And it's fun. They're the same thing. That's what's funny about it. Then LA tries to fight off the twins, but he instantly gets the tongue and death grip from Jacob Fatu, putting that man down into a seated position in the corner, and then the whole bloodline just throw all on that man's face. They just throwing after after on that man's face. Then they set him up. Jimmy goes to the top rope for the big Uso splash. They limp up all the men in the middle of the ring, and they hold up the ones. So maybe they're gonna lose at SummerSlam. I don't know, probably not. What I think is going to happen at SummerSlam is that maybe LA Knight, Royce, and Solo will win, but I think Solo is gonna betray them. I think Solo is gonna come back to the bloodline because I feel like it just makes sense to have everybody in the bloodline, so Obafemi can murder them. But that is going to be in the end of part 2. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed WWE 2K26 content as well, we have My Rise and the CM Punk Showcase content. Also, subscribe to the channel so you can get the review of SummerSlam Night 1 and Night 2 back to back. And that Monday, I can't wait for that weekend. It's a super stressful weekend, but I can't wait to do it. I'm Twist. Remember, y'all, Jesus loves you, and to always keep God first. I'm out.